Next, we will discuss about SQL. As we discussed, the definition of SQL is structured query language. As we discussed, SQL is a structured query language. Structured query language. It is a case-sensitive language. It is a case-sensitive language. It is going to be shows the difference between uppercase and lowercase letter of the same alphabet as well. That is what will be having the difference between uppercase and as well as lowercase. ఓకే ఒక క్యాపిటల్ లెటర్ ఏ ఇవ్వాల్సిన దగ్గర స్మాల్ లెటర్ ఏ ఇచ్చిన కూడా దెన్ ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు బి రిప్రజెంట్ ద ఎర్రర్ సో ఆల్ఫాబెట్స్ సారీ ఎస్క్యూఎల్ ఇస్
సార్
నాట్ ఎ కేస్ సెన్సిటివ్ లాంగ్వేజ్
మాస్టర్ స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేశారా? ఒకసారి స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేయండి.
మర్చిపోయా
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
everyone able to see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, uh, it is not a case sensitive language, not a case sensitive language. So we can write the queries either in uppercase or in lowercase wherever it is. So however it is required for us. So for few sessions, what I'll do is I'll write the syntax which has to be maintained as it is in the uh, SQL query in capital letters, and what we have to change that I'll write in lowercase letters. మనం క్వరీస్ అప్పర్ కేస్ లెటర్స్ లోవర్ కేస్ లెటర్స్ ఎలా రాసినా కూడా ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు బి కన్సిడర్ ఆ డిఫరెన్స్ ఏం చూపించదు బట్ కొన్ని సెషన్స్ వరకు మనకు అర్థం అవడానికి సింటాక్సెస్లో విచ్ మనం ఏదైనా ఏం చేంజ్ చేయొచ్చు మన రిక్వైర్మెంట్ బేస్ చేసుకొని ఏది యాజ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ మెయింటైన్ చేయొచ్చు అండ్ రిప్రజెంట్ చేయడానికి కోసం ఆ, నేను డిఫరెన్స్ అప్పర్ కేసు లోవర్ కేసు అప్పర్ కేసులో రాసినది యాజ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ మనం రిప్రజెంట్ చేయాల్సి ఉంటుంది క్వరీలో లోవర్ కేసులో రిప్రజెంట్ చేసేది వీ కెన్ ఏబుల్ టు చేంజ్ యాజ్ పర్ ద రిక్వైర్మెంట్ అనేసి సో అది రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తాను సో SQL is a non-procedural language as what we have discussed in the previous session as well. SQL is a language which is used to perform all operations with the relational database products. So if we enter into the different types of SQL commands, that what we can say as classification of SQL commands. We will see different classification of SQL commands. DDL, data definition language. DML, data retrieval language. So we have next DCL, data control language. TCL, transactional transaction control language. Majorly we used to say these four types of SQL commands, and depends on that. Uh, Select is one of the query we used to say normally under DML. Strictly speaking, if we want to segregate that into one group, we are going to be represent that select under DRL, data retrieval language. We'll see DDL language, DDL commands. For what purpose we have this DDL command? See, for creating table structure, that is structure of table in a sense. See, before going to discuss this, what is meant by table? Table or relation, arrangement of rows and columns. Arrangement of rows and columns is nothing but a table. Arrangement of rows and columns is nothing but a table. In the Excel sheet, we will be having different cells. Everything what we would like to store in Excel is in the form of a rows and columns only. The intersection of rows and columns will be called as a cell in Excel. Excel లో మనం ఏ డేటా స్టోర్ చేయాలన్నా కూడా ఎవ్రీథింగ్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు బి స్టోర్ ఇన్ ద ఫార్మ్ ఆఫ్ రోస్ అండ్ కాలమ్స్. ఒక రో కాలం ఎక్కడైతే ఇంటర్సెక్ట్ అవుతుందో దాన్ని మనం ఏం చెప్తామంటే సెల్ అంటాం. సో ఇక్కడ కూడా ఇన్ ద డేటాబేస్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు బి స్టోర్ ద డేటా ఇన్ ద ఫార్మ్ ఆఫ్ ఏ టేబుల్. టేబుల్లో ఏముంటాయి? సో అగైన్ rows and columns. We are going to be store the data in the form of rows and columns. So ఇప్పుడు మనకి row is nothing but horizontal one. Row or record or tuple which is considered as horizontal one. Horizontal one which is going to be represents about one particular thing, about one particular, about all things related to one. So what it means, we will see. See here, employee ID, employee name, employee location. Just we have some, or will be having some employee department, employee salary, employee location. These are some columns we have. These are some columns we have. So now what we can represent here is, if I'm giving 101 and name as Dana, department, development, salary let we consider 65,000 or something, employee location, Bangalore, Bangalore. See, now one more 102, employee name as Bharat. We consider department as HR, where we'll be having 60,000 salary, location Chennai. This is the data we have. This is a data we have. See, one particular record in essence, this is the one particular record. About one particular employee, all details. ఒక పర్టికులర్ ఎంప్లాయీ అన్ని డీటెయిల్స్ని రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తుంది. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ వీ కెన్ కాల్ యాజ్ రో ఆర్ టపుల్ ఆర్ record. That is what we can say as row, tuple or record. Horizontal one will be represented as row or tuple or record. See, ఇప్పుడు this will be considered, what I have highlighted is one particular column. Vertical one will be considered as one particular column where it is going to be represents one category of data completely. Where it is going to be represents one category of data completely. So ఇప్పుడు నేను ఈ కాలం తీసుకుంటే అందరి ఎంప్లాయీ నేమ్స్ వస్తుంది. సో ఈ కాలం తీసుకుంటే అందరి ఎంప్లాయీ డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్ వస్తుంది. ఈ కాలం తీసుకుంటే శాలరీ మాత్రం వస్తుంది. అంటే ఒక కేటగిరీ ఆఫ్ డేటా మాత్రమే యాక్సెస్ చేసుకోగలం ఇఫ్ యూఆర్ కన్సిడరింగ్ ఇట్ ఇస్ ఏ కాలం. ఒక కేటగిరీ ఆఫ్ డేటా మాత్రమే యాక్సెస్ చేసుకోగలం. సో అదే రికార్డ్ అయితే వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు బి యాక్సెస్ ఆల్ ద డేటా రిలేటెడ్ టు వన్ పర్టికులర్ thing, or if in this particular case ఒక ఎంప్లాయీ యొక్క కంప్లీట్ డీటెయిల్స్ తెలుసుకోవడానికి రో యూజ్ చేస్తాం. ఐ మీన్ ఎక్కడ కూడా రో అంటే వన్ పర్టికులర్ థింగ్ గురించి మొత్తం తెలుసుకోవడానికి యూజ్ చేస్తాం. అదే కాలం అయితే ఒక కేటగిరీలో కంప్లీట్ డేటా, ఒక కేటగిరీ, దిస్ ఈజ్ ఎంప్లాయీ ఐడి కేటగిరీ, దిస్ ఈజ్ ఎంప్లాయీ నేమ్ కేటగిరీ, దిస్ ఈజ్ ఈఎంపీ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ కేటగిరీ, salary category, so like that. I think it is clear what is a tuple, record or row. In the same way, column will be considered as field, attribute. So where it is considered as vertical one, all data about one particular category. This is the content we'll be having. So table, row, column, table, row, column. I think it is clear. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Yeah. See, creating table. Creating table in a sense, we are going to be create the table structure. We are going to be create table structure. What is meant by table structure? What are the columns? What are the different type of data we need to store? That and all we are going to be represent. What are the columns? What are the different types of data we are going to be store? That will be represented. See, that is nothing but designing a table. So we are creating the table structure. We are creating the table structure, modifying or changing table structure, removing table structure. All these things will be performed. All these things will be performed. The creating table structure, modifying or changing the existing table structure. We are going to be remove the structure of the table. The commands for that is create, alter, drop. Create, alter, drop are the commands we have. That syntax is everything we will discuss now. Create, alter, drop. Now, the second type of SQL command we have here is second type of SQL commands to insert data into table, modify or change existing data. So here under DML commands, I'm talking completely about data itself. I'm talking completely about data. DDL commands have talked, so I'm talking about completely structure of table. ఒక టేబుల్ యొక్క స్ట్రక్చర్ని క్రియేట్ చేయాలన్నా మాడిఫై చేయాలన్నా రిమూవ్ చేయాలన్నా DDL కమాండ్స్ యూజ్ చేస్తాం. అదే DML కమాండ్స్ ఎందుకు యూజ్ చేస్తామంటే టేబుల్లో డేటాని ఇన్సర్ట్ చేయాలన్నా చేంజ్ చేయాలన్నా రిమూవ్ చేయాలన్నా యాక్సెస్ చేయాలన్నా కూడా వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు బి సే అండర్ DML. బట్ స్ట్రిక్ట్లీ స్పీకింగ్ accessing the data will be comes under DRL language. DRL, data retrieval language. Data retrieval language. So that is select, which is used for accessing the data, accessing or retrieving data from table, accessing or retrieving the data from existing table. See here, insert data into table, modify the data, existing data, removing the data, removing data from the table. For this, what commands we have here is insert, update, insert, update, delete. And if you want, we can also say select under the DML itself. But strictly speaking, DRL will be, I mean, select will be comes under DRL language, DRL command. And the next one is DCL command. DCL command. Next one is DCL command. Now, what is the purpose of using this DCL commands is to give access to the database or to revoke the access which has given. We are using the DCL commands for giving access and privileges, access and privileges to the database and revoke back and revoke. For that we are going to be use this command grant revoke. Revoke is taking the privileges back. Taking the privileges back which we have given. So yesterday's class we have discussed about data security. Data security, how we are going to be provide the data security, how we are achieving the data security with the database is we are providing role based schedule, role based schedule, or because of that role based only we are achieving the data security. What is meant by data security? See, role based security, we are giving some privileges to some users and some privileges to some users. depends on their role, depends on their work, we are going to give the access to the respective users. So this everything is going to be maintained by the DBA team, database administrators. Database administrator. For Oracle database, there will be some DBA team, that is database administrators team. They will be taking care of everything for whom we need to provide the access, what type of access we need to provide, and how long we need to provide that access. Once if the task is done, we can able to take the privileges back as well. Ante we are going to be, I mean, database administrators అనే ఒక team, they will be the owners of the they will be the owners of the database. They know for which database, for which users we need to give the right access, read access, modification access, like different privileges will be there. Based on that privileges only, they will be giving access, depends on the role of the database users. So అవి ఇచ్చిన తర్వాత, so once if they, like, once in a 3 months, like they can able to remove that database access if there is no requirement, or else, so if they are getting any information like no need of access for this particular user, they will be removing it. They will be removing it. So these things will be happen. So that everything is going to be maintained by the DBA team. DBA team అనేసి ఒక separate team ఉంటుంది. So they will be using this grant and revoke most of the cases for giving the privileges to the users. Users కి పర్మిషన్స్ ఇవ్వడానికి, ఇచ్చిన పర్మిషన్స్ మళ్ళీ బ్యాక్ తీసుకోవడానికి they will be using this DRL commands. They will be using this DRL commands. I think it is clear about grant and revoke. Next, next classification of command we'll be having here is TCL, Transaction Control Language. Perform transaction, or we can say transaction related task. What is meant by transaction? What is meant by transaction? Set of work to be done in a logical order. Set of work to be done in a logical order. Set of work to be done in a logical order is nothing but transaction. What is meant by set of work which has to be done in a logical order? If the person A has to be transfer the amount to the person B, what is the set of work to be done in that particular case? So I mean to say, like, that is not only the transaction transferring the amount from one account to other account. Just for understanding purpose, I am taking that particular example. For understanding purpose, I am taking that particular example. What is the logical order of executing that particular task is, when the person A has to be transferred the amount to the person B, the person A has to transfer the amount from A to bank. From bank, the amount has to be transferred to the person B. That is the task which has to be done. But instead of that, that is a proper work it has to be done. That is a set of work which has to be done in a logical order. That is the order. It should not get lost to anyone, or without affecting anything. The task is going to be done in that particular case. Or else, if the person A is transferring the amount to the person B, and the person B is not transferring to the, sorry, if the person A is transferred the amount to the bank, and from the bank the amount is not transferred to the person B, so then what will happen here? Then what will happen here? So A person is going to be get lost. If the suppose, if the case like the person B is getting amount from bank, and which is not transferred from A, which is not transferred from A, in that particular case, what will happen? In that particular case, what will happen? So bank person is going to be get lost. So these are the things will be there. To avoid all these things, we need to use a set of work to be done in a logical order. So various commands we have here, like start transaction, start transaction, commit, rollback. So we will discuss all those things. These are the different classification of SQL commands we have. If you have any doubt in this, you can ask me. So we'll give the clarification on this. Different classification of SQL commands. Any doubt if you have, you can ask me. Is it clear? Any doubts you have in the classification of SQL commands?
No, sir.
Yeah. See, we'll discuss the syntaxes for each and every one for DDL commands, DML, DCL, TCL, one by one. See, first create command. Create command. Create command. To create a table, will be following this structure. For creating the table, will be following this structure. So, like create table. So, table name. Table name is our price. Because of that, I have represented in lowercase letters, small letters. So, it is not mandatory to represent a few things in uppercase and few things in lowercase. That is our wish. However, we would like to write everything in lowercase, we can write everything in uppercase, we can write. మొత్తం లోయర్ కేసులో రాయొచ్చు, మొత్తం అప్పర్ కేసులో రాయొచ్చు. జస్ట్ నేను కొంతవరకు వేరియేషన్ మనకు క్లియర్గా అర్థం అవడానికి ఏది యాజ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ రాయాలి సింటాక్సెస్లో, ఏది చేంజ్ చేయాలి, చేంజ్ చేయొచ్చు, సో అనేది రిప్రజెంట్ చేయడానికి మాత్రమే అప్పర్ కేస్ లోయర్ కేస్ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం తప్పితే రిమైనింగ్ మనం ఎలా రాసినా కూడా ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు బి కన్సిడర్డ్ ద క్వరీ బికాస్ SQL is not a case sensitive language. SQL is not a case sensitive language. Okay, create table name. And one more thing, no need to write completely everything in the one line query. No need to write everything in one line. Multiple lines also we can write, but it has to be terminated with a semicolon. So for better understanding, for better writing of query, we can write in multiple lines as well. But when we are going to be represent semicolon, and that is going to be considered as the query end, and we can able to execute it. Create table name. See here, column 1, data type and its size. column 2 data type and its size, column 3 data type and its size. Like that, how many number of columns we require, that many number of columns we can write in the table. And finally, column n, how many number of columns we can write. So we can write see, the table will be having different columns as per our requirement. Any number of columns we can have. While we are declaring the columns, we need to represent what type of data we need to store in it, what type of what is the size we can able to accept in that particular column. Also we can able to represent. This is a syntax for creating table. This is a syntax for creating table. See, create table, table name, create table, table name. So table name is our choice. Depends on our requirement. We can able to write the name of the table. Name of the table. See, column 1 data type size, column 2 data type size. See, as how many number of columns we required and what type of data we need to store in that particular columns. Based on that, we are going to be create the column with the integer. Only it is going to be store the integer values without having any decimal values. డాట్ తో లేకుండా ఏదైనా నెంబర్ స్టోర్ చేయాలనుకుంటే ఇంట్ యూస్ చేస్తాం. లేదు నంబర్ ఆర్ డెసిమల్ వి హ్యావ్. డెసిమల్ ఎందుకు యూస్ చేస్తామంటే మనం డాట్తో రిప్రజెంట్ చేసే నెంబర్ని స్పెసిఫై చేయడానికి డెసిమల్ యూస్ చేస్తాం. అట్లా డిఫరెంట్ డేటా టైప్స్ వి హ్యావ్ దట్ వి విల్ డిస్కస్ ఇన్ ద కమింగ్ సెషన్స్. ఆ డిఫరెంట్ డేటా టైప్స్ కూడా ఏమేమి ఉన్నాయనేసి మనం డిస్కస్ చేస్తాం. సో ఇక్కడ వరకు జస్ట్ యూ రిమెంబర్ లైక్ ఫర్ క్రియేటింగ్ ద టేబుల్ దిస్ ఇస్ అ సింటాక్స్. లర్నింగ్ ద సింటాక్సెస్ ఇస్ మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. Learning the syntaxes is most important. Create table, table name, and these are the different columns and with respective data types so that it is going to be create the table. Modify alter command which is used for changing the structure of table. Changing the structure of table in a sense, adding, adding or removing a column or columns, either single column uh, more than one column kuda kaవచ్చు. We can able to add, we can able to remove. That will happen. Changing the structure of a table, changing the data type of existing column. So these the things we can able to perform the changes. These are the things we are going to be perform the changes. Now first to add a column or columns to the existing table. What is the syntax? So actually here actually it is a syntax. Syntax. Add a column or columns to the existing table. Alter table, table name will be adding. So column name, data type, size will be represented. Alter table, table name, add column name, data type, size. If we want to modify the data type of existing column, modify or change existing column of a table, we have to use alter table command only. So instead of add here, we are going to be give modify. So we have to provide here column name, new data type, new data type along with the size, new data type along with the size. See, this is a syntax. This is a syntax. For removing some columns or one column from the existing table, so we are having this. To remove a column or columns from existing table, we have this syntax. Alter table, table name, alter table, table name, drop, column name we have to provide. Alter table, table name, drop, column name. Alter table, table name, drop column name. That particular column completely it is going to be removing from the table. That particular columns completely it is going to be removed from the table. So these are the things we have under alter. See, changing the structure of a table is nothing but adding or removing a column, changing the data type of existing column. These tasks we are going to be performed with the existing table by using alter command. Alter command యూస్ చేసి ఒక కాలమ్ ని ఆల్రెడీ ఉన్న టేబుల్ లోకి యాడ్ చేయొచ్చు, రిమూవ్ చేయొచ్చు, డేటా టైప్ ని మాడిఫై చేయొచ్చు. సో the same way these are all the tasks we can able to perform with the different syntaxes. These are the syntaxes we have. These are the syntaxes we have. I'll share this document immediately once after completion of the class. You have to learn these syntaxes. If you learn the syntaxes, then only it will be easy for writing queries. If you didn't learn the the syntaxes properly, it will be difficult for writing the queries. See, whatever it may be the queries syntaxes we are discussing, I'll share you these particular notes. Then immediately if you learn that day to day, then it is very easy to go with the next sessions. Okay, so next we have one more command, that is drop. Remove the existing table from the database completely along with the structure. That is, whatever it is memory occupied, it is going to be released that memory as well. Memory occupied by the table also will be released. Memory occupied by the table also will be released. See, the syntax for that is drop table, table name. Drop table, table name. Drop table, table name is the command we have for writing this. So I think it is clear with the commands what we have discussed. If any doubt in this create command, alter command and drop, let me know, I'll explain. Any doubt in this? Okay. So next, DML commands that we will discuss in the next session. DML commands and DRL, DCL, TCL as well we will discuss in the next session, tomorrow's session.